Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. Jazz Dwayne here. Today's date is December the 10th, 2020. In today's video, I want to talk about how I feel about this year. Well, this year hasn't really been kind to neither of us because of the pandemic, and most of us have to stay quarantined, and some of us have to go to work, and we have to make ends meet. You know what I mean? And it hasn't been easy for none of us. There's some people that have been on unemployment, and we've been struggling for like a minute. And I feel like this year wasn't the best year for none of us. And I feel like this year kind of sucks. And I hope that 2021 open up a new door for every one of us. I just hope that it does, because this year has not been kind to neither of us. There are some positive and there's some negatives of 2020 which is within my life. And the positive is that I was very happy that I went to Virginia back in March to see my uncle. I haven't seen my uncle in about nearly 11 years. And, my uncle is the only immediate family member that I have left on my mother's line of the family. So, and I barely even talk to him. And my uncle's son lives in the same city as him. So it comes to show that my uncle was never alone. And I was happy that I spent time with him, but I feel like it should have been a little longer. And, because I met my uncle later in life, when I was a teenager, way before the World Trade Center even happened. And, I was kind of bummed I didn't spend enough time with him. But, I went to this Black and Gold party that my male best friend's family was having out in Newport News. And I had a very good time with the Black and Gold party. And I had a very good time. And that's way before the pandemic even happened. I think like almost 2 to 3 days before, even scattered around, because it scattered in New York City and started spreading around. And it was just not the best feeling at all. And it was just so much tragedy going around, this whole entire country, even around the world. And that really sucked. And, most of us have to stay home so we won't, get sick or anything like that. And I feel like this year, kind of sucked. And it wasn't the best year for neither of us. And but at the end of the day, I had a good time spending time with my uncle. I barely see him. And I hope to see my other family members this year. And I was able to go to the casino back in September. I haven't been in like in forever, because I love going to the casinos, every single time. But not every single time, because I work for a living. So what kind of time I have to go to a casino. I probably have to go probably on Mondays or sometimes during the weekends. But I had a very good time. But I stayed mostly home besides going to work, so I can stay away from people. And plus, I didn't really, see my friends this year at all. I barely saw them because my friends wanted me to visit them. But I think everything was just so risky, at the time. And but next year I hope to see them. But this year I barely saw them. And most of this year I did mostly YouTube videos, live streams, and I think I had a very good time, communicating with my supporters. And you guys are the best people ever. I love you guys, and I hope that y'all can really rock with me within the next year. And it's been a very good year so far. But, there is some negatives, that I was dealing with in my personal life, especially my family life, my romantic life. And, I didn't want to broadcast that part of my life on YouTube at all, because a lot of people realize that I'm very private in my real life. And I just didn't want to put that part of my life out there. And I remember when I was, going on one of my live streams, this supporter, she was a woman. She is from Africa. She was like, you haven't really been yourself lately. Is everything okay? And I was like, I'm doing okay. But I was actually lying to her. And I just didn't want to talk about what was going on in my romantic or personal life, because I was going through a breakup, during that time. And I just didn't want to talk about it. And then, it was just so much that I was dealing with. And I spoke about my personal romantic life in one of my other videos back a while ago, months ago. I spoke about it, but I'm not going to talk about it here. But I was going through a whole horrible breakup, and I was going through it, and I just didn't want to talk about it because it was just too much to personally deal with, and it was just too much, during that time, and it was too much, and I just didn't want to talk about it. And I have to say, the situation actually pissed me off because I've been so quiet because I'm the type of person that I can retaliate very easily. You know what I mean? I can retaliate very easily, like talk, speak my mind and stuff like that. But I felt like it was just not the right time. And this happened like early 2020. This is way before the pandemic even happened. And I've been quiet because I didn't want no retaliation. I was trying to keep, my mouth shut. I was trying to keep mum. Like mom means being quiet, not saying anything. Because I spoke about it, in one of my earlier videos this year, and I just didn't want to talk about it on live streaming or on videos, and it was just too much. And like I narrowly was worried, but I didn't really give a damn. At the end of the day, I didn't really let it bother me because that was my personal life, and I wasn't gonna let it drag on social media. Not at all, because not everything has to be told. Because I'm the type of person that really keeps, things under wraps. I like to keep the peace. I don't like to bicker and argue trying to get a point across regarding my personal life because, most of the people, especially on Facebook or sometimes YouTube, most of these people don't really know me, except for the people that I be around in my daily life and people that I go to school with. They will really know the real me. But I didn't really want to deal with that part of that situation in my personal life, and I didn't want to talk about it, but I was going through a lot. And then, back in April, I found out my ex-boyfriend got murdered in Brooklyn, New York, in a train station, and early in the morning. It was like 2 something in the morning. And I spoke about that situation, about him, in another video a while ago, but that was weeks before he was murdered. You know what I mean? And at the time he was alive, but I spoke about my experiences way before that situation in Brooklyn happened. I spoke about it because at the end of the day, there's two sides to every story. There's two sides to every story. And, when he got murdered and stuff like that, I felt sorry for his family. In a way, my heart was broken because me and him was in a relationship, and it took a lot out of me because I had to really think about what was going on between us during that time, and it was just too much for me to digest at that time. It was too much, but I did go to the wake, but I did not go to the funeral, and I felt like he didn't really have the best support system, and that's why he went to New York, to get away from all of that. Because when I was bothered, when people that you was formerly with tell people your business, I felt some type of way, and just certain things that you just don't do. And I was thinking about that, and because most exes don't go to their exes wakes or funerals, but I came to show my respect. It's because I known him, and we squash our beef, and stuff like that. And I kept it hidden for 8 months because I didn't really want to talk about it at the time. And, the woman that came to my live streaming, she kind of figured that something was wrong with me, but I just didn't really want to talk about it, during that time. Not at all. It was just too much for me to bear. And then I was dealing with a horrible breakup, and I just didn't want to talk about that either. But the situation actually pissed me off, and I was trying to hold everything in and hold everything back, and I was really upset, and I was heartbroken too. I was really heartbroken, and with me, I don't like beating around the bush. I like to talk about my reasonings towards every little thing because I think a lot of people hold a lot of things in, and there's some people that get hints towards certain situations. I like to put it out there. So I let the whole world know, I'm not perfect. Neither is the people that I dealt with in my life is perfect either, nor my family, But at the end of the day, I, dealt with that, part of that situation for about 3 to 4 months, but I learned how to diffuse the situation by being peaceful and not talk about it too much. When I had a lot coming out of my chest, during that time. And it was just too much for me to bear, during that time. And I nearly almost got sick over the breakup, but I made it okay. And I was okay, during that time. But, that was the negative part. of every little thing. And the tragedy of my ex being murdered in a train station in Brooklyn, my heart, goes out to his family. And no, they haven't, looked for his perpetrator person that murdered him. Like, he has not been looked for at all. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that he gets justice. I can never wish that on my own worst enemy. And everybody had their faults in life, and yeah, he's a good person, but like everybody has their memories of the certain person that they've been with, or their buddies or cousins or anything that is related to them. Like everybody has, their memories about them. You know what I mean? And I would never come around here and drag anybody that I dealt with in my life. But I will speak about my experiences despite the fact I'm a very private person and that YouTube is an open book. You know what I mean? And I dealt with that for a while, but I learned how to not talk about everything, within social media platforms, because I feel like everything is not for social media. And I felt like I dealt with it the best way that I know how, but I was heartbroken over those two situations. But I feel like I came and I conquered, and I felt a lot better. I felt stronger than I did before, and I didn't let things bother me that the way that it did back then, because I just didn't really care at the time, and I didn't give a damn at all, what was going on in my personal life. But, this year hasn't really been the best, but I hope that 2021 would be the best for everybody. And I hope that everybody be able to move on with their lives and heal. And I don't know if everything's going to be normal again. It's probably going to be the new normal, you know what I mean? And especially the changing of presidents, you know what I mean? I'm happy about the results. We'll see what happens, what 2021 will have in store for every one of us. And, I just hope that, everybody's dreams come true, in life, you know what I mean? And one day I might own my own business, what that's probably what I want to do for myself, because I'm my own boss, I like to, deal with my own finances, differently from most people, because I'm my own person. And I hope that I'll be able to make that dream come true, is to have my own business one day. And it's like, to me, never give up on my dreams. And I would love to go back to college to finish my 2 years that I have left, because I went to college for a couple years. I was about 21 when I withdrew. So I hope that I'll be able to go back, with style, and be the best confident person that I can ever be. And I hope that everybody else in 2021, coming up in about a month from now, will have a very good year next year. And I just hope that everything will go back to normal. I'll be able to go outside, go to the beaches, hang out with friends, go to bars, clubs, travel a little more. And I just hope that, next year will fill with more promises compared to this year, because I feel like this year was not the best year for neither of us. But I think most of us try to, become very positive, and, not to let a lot of things bother them. Unlike what happened, this year. The last the last 9 months of this year was insane. And I just hope that, things will come to par in the near future for every one of us. And I just hope that everybody be able to heal a little more properly, and I hope that everything will be fine with everybody else, and so forth. It doesn't even matter who you are, but I just hope that everybody be able to find themselves and to heal and move on from what happened in 2020, because I know that 2020 will only be a memory, and you can't really repeat this year at all, because this year's nearly come to an end. And also, most of us are probably gonna celebrate Christmas in our houses, and I'm pretty sure New Year's Day is probably gonna be virtual too, with the firecrackers and stuff. Because I always wanted to see the firecrackers every year. Last year it was in no firecrackers in Rochester, New York, because I live outside of Rochester. I live 30 minutes away from the city, because I live in my father's hometown. But sooner or later I will be moving. But they didn't have firecrackers this year because it was probably too cold. And I don't think they will have firecrackers here again in Rochester either. Because I live outside of Rochester. I live in the Rochester suburbs. And I've been out here since I was 25 years old. So I've been out here for nearly 8 years of my life, my adult life. Because I've been on and off in Rochester area for 12 years. I've been in this area on and off for 12 years since I was a 17-year-old kid. But I hope that, a new beginning will be here for me and everybody else. Within YouTube, on Facebook, even Instagram, even Twitter, even around the world. And I just hope that everybody have peace and love and forgiveness within their hearts. especially in their lives and so forth. All right, you guys. Peace and love to everybody, and you guys have a very good night. All right, good day, people, and peace to all.